Ecstasy.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Mimings.
Hi, I'm Ashazu.
And this is officially Bravely Fit.
Yes.
Welcome. So we have a fun episode that we're going to be talking about food today. And we have a special guest with us. We have my favorite coach. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't say my favorite because that might offend the rest of my
I was
coaches.
wondering what you meant by special. We're talking like unique or like short little school bus.
No.
Wow.
I was saying, if we're shooting from the hip, I'm like, which one are we getting?
6-1. 6-1.
Okay.
So welcome to Jay from Jaycin Fitness in Fairfield,
Hello.
New Jersey.
Yeah, you're awesome.
This is
You're
my
awesome.
coach. This is my...
I gotta steal this applause button for my life.
I think I've trained once. I think you were just lingering around the studio. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I like your gym.
So it's an amazing facility out in Fairfield. And we got to tell this story really quick. I remember that I was talking with Bobby, who is your better half. Mm-hmm. And she was asking me how everything was going with my journey. And I told her that I was like in limbo because my last trainer was going through his own training because he was a Muay Thai fighter. And I was basically aimlessly going through the gym, not knowing what to do. So she introduced me to you. And I remember my first interaction with you was that I said, "Did Bobby tell you what I do on the side?" And you said something to the effect of, "Yeah, she told me you're like an axe murderer." And I said, "Yeah, but I can't lift the axe yet." And you're like, "We're going to get along great." And that I knew right then and there that was going to be a great interaction. And I started working out with you in late May, I think it was.
Right around the beginning, end of spring, beginning of summer, right around that time,
Right.
yeah.
And the impact that it has had from May until now has been unbelievable.
Like in what way?
In what way? First of all, I actually have direction. I know what the hell I'm doing with regard to form, to the nutritional coaching alone has been phenomenal. I have discovered I definitely have a food issue. And we still struggle with that. Like that you're still on me all the time. Hey, you didn't make your calories. You didn't make your protein.
The food's gonna always be a constantly moving target. Like, I think a lot of people and I know the talk about today is going to be about diet. I mean, I think this is where most people get confused is that they think diet is like there's a destination or there's an arrival. Like, it's a constantly moving target. You're never going to get it right. It's more about not so much finding out what the perfect diet is or the right recipe, or it's like the pursuit of perfection, like constantly trying to get better, or constantly trying to adapt to stuff. Once you get something down, life's going to throw you a curveball, and then something's going to happen, and you got to change it all up. But it's just knowing that's what the way it's supposed to be and being okay with that.
So I don't like referring to it as diet. I like lifestyle change. Because a diet, I always say the word die isn't diet. I don't like dieting. I work out so that I can eat whatever I want without that guilt attached to it.
I think for a lot of people, dieting is just really whatever phrase you attach to it.
Yeah.
Right now, we're looking at diet. Really, it's just 4 letters, right? It doesn't really hold any meaning besides the meaning we give to it. And that's in a big part been established by people's prior experiences, prior attempts, the information they were given, or to a greater percentage, what kind of influence people had in their lives to give them that meaning and association.
Right.
So you can look at the term diet and people are scared to death because they think they're going to die and deprive themselves.
Oh, that's
and,
me.
Yeah, and that's just a funny one-liner we've given it to over the years in the fitness industry. But at the end of the day, it's just what goal are you eating towards and how are you getting there? Like and we'll get more into this. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions about it. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but it's all about how complicated or how simplified you make the process. And I think a lot of people, especially in the fitness industry, have monetized dieting because the amount of confusion and just frustration they put around it for people, it makes it so confusing where you feel as if, hey, I have to pay somebody for this or I'm never going to get it. Where it's really not that hard. Like, we've broken it down to 3 simple steps. Stay within your calories, hit your protein, and backfill the calories however you want. And by making it more simple and cutting away all the fluff, people can actually stick to it. So in terms of, I wouldn't say it's a lifestyle change. I would just say, hey, what do I have to do? Where does my lifestyle meet my goal? And how can I make those two come together somewhere in the middle? And that's just the way the food works. I've got people where they eat once a day, and that's because for a lot of my doctors, a lot of my nurses, a lot of my law enforcement personnel, people who don't have the opportunity to stop and eat 5 or 16 small meals a day. But then I have people who have time who can eat chicken, broccoli, and rice. And there's no right or wrong way. It's whatever's going to get you to your goal and whatever's going to fit inside of your lifestyle and schedule. That's it.
So when you talk about the people that can only eat once a day, does that go into terms with intermittent fasting, where you eat that one bulk meal and then the rest is fasting?
So there's going to be a lot of intersecting paths, right? So intermittent fasting, yes, does involve some forms of intermittent fasting do involve you eating once a day, if that's your measurable. Some forms of intermittent fasting are going to have you eating a certain number of calories. The last time I counted, there's 22 or 23 different ways you can do intermittent fasting.
Wow.
And some of them are very similar. There's 6 or 7 core variations of intermittent fasting. But if you're looking for all the variants and the modifications, I think there was like 23. Anyway, they all come down to the same principle, right? Eating way less than what you normally do, so you create a deficit, so your body has to burn more fat for energy, right? I can have somebody who's eating 500 calories a day, and they're on a low-calorie fast. They're going to only eat 500 calories when they should be eating like 2,000 to 3,000.
Wow.
But do they get all 500 calories in one meal? Do they get it in 2 smaller meals? Are they drinking protein shakes all day? There's a lot of different ways to get to that number. So if I asked, like the 3 of us in the room right now, right? If I said, hey, we got to get to X location in New York City. How you getting there? Ready? Go. We're all going to come up with a different way.
Right.
You might take the path. I might drive. Celli might take an Uber. Somebody might decide to walk. You might take Route 80. I might take 46. At the end of the day, though, we're all going to end up in the same spot.
Right. Wait,
Why did I get the most bougie one?
You're in the middle. You're sitting on the bougie red couch. But at the end of the day, if somebody can't eat 5 times a day, there's no point in trying to force them to do something that just doesn't fit their schedule.
Right.
Where if I can base a diet, I mean, you got to think of mine too. We commercialize this to be like, oh, you have to eat 5 to 6 small meals a day, and it's got to be the certain blend of carbs, proteins, and fats at each meal, and the food pyramid, all the stuff that we came up with over the years. But if you look at every other living being on the planet, right? Every animal, every insect, whatever, right? If it's got a breath and a heartbeat, right? We try to follow for ourselves as human beings, like, other animals don't live by those rules. Mm-hmm. So what makes us so different than all the other biology in the world? You think back to, I get really weird with this stuff. You think back to like medieval times, right? Even caveman times. There were periods of time where you would go days, maybe even weeks without eating. Mm-hmm. Your body has ways to adapt and survive that. Like when people start not eating for long terms, like your body goes into starvation mode. Mm-hmm. And what it starts doing is becoming more energy efficient. So this way it can survive and not wither away and die, right? Which was a good thing back in the day, but now in a society where food is so prevalent, activity is so little, like it has an adverse effect and we gain weight. But you look at like animals that go, I was watching some weird on TikTok, a snake just ate a friggin' like big animal, right? Snake's not gonna eat again for a month. It's just the way its metabolism works. At the end of the day, it's calories in and calories out. Now, I know a lot of people when we first started doing the dieting and stuff, this is one of the things we had to work on individually, is people only think from day to day. Where if you have a bad day, oh my God, I ruined my diet. What am I going to do? I was supposed to eat 1,200 calories today. I ate 2,700 calories because somebody brought the pizza and I just couldn't say no and I screwed my diet. We try to teach our client to think in terms of like weekly action goals, right? Like how many calories a day right now do you eat?
I don't count them.
Okay, so there's the first problem. So let's say if you had to take a stab at it, right? How many would you say you eat?
Oh, I don't know. I like to eat.
Humor me. Pick a number. Any number.
It has to be well over 3,000.
Okay.
I like to eat.
Okay.
But I work out 4 to 5 times a week. That's why I eat whatever I want to eat.
Okay.
Because I try to stay fit.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So let's just dive into this. So what does dieting mean for you?
You're gonna die.
Okay. Now,
my lifestyle change that I made, I don't drink juice or soda. I only drink water or coffee.
Why?
Coffee is my sweet sin. I need it.
Okay.
But water, I don't know. It's just, I feel this guilt when I do drink juice because of the sugars in it. It's just, I don't think it's good for you. So if it's not tea that's sweetened with agave or a natural sweetener, I'm not going to drink it.
So is it that you're opposed to the fact that there's sugar and calories, or you're more, I don't like artificial stuff?
I don't like artificial stuff. I try to stay as organic as possible.
Okay.
And for
Organic
me-
meaning what? Because everybody has a different meaning for organic.
Less additives, less, like I try to keep it as natural as possible.
Okay.
So the eggs I have at home, they're the organic free range eggs.
Okay.
As opposed to the cage free, because to me, that's two completely different meanings.
Okay. And by staying more organic and getting away from like the additives, what is the purpose behind that? By staying away from these additives, I'm either going to get or avoid
I
what?
don't know. I have no idea.
So then why stay
I
away from
just
so then
figured
why
that
stay away
if-
from the additives though? Like
I
what
figure it's healthier
in what way though?
for our bodies. We're not meant to eat certain things that are covered in pesticides or have the natural flavors in it, because it's not really natural. Like I noticed from my children, whenever my son would have anything with high fructose corn syrup or anything with high sugars, he would break out in an eczema rash. And I noticed when I changed his diet and put him on more, and he's on a spectrum, let me add that, when I put him on just water and more quote unquote natural things, his cognitive function was different. He
Okay.
understood more. When I put him on the probiotics, his digestion got better.
Okay.
When I took out all the stuff that we don't think about that has the added sugars, I saw change. And
Okay.
for me seeing that change in my children, I'm like, okay, I got to do it for myself too.
Okay, which all makes sense, and I agree with you on that. My question is this, though. We started off the question, if you don't, so diet meaning die, right? So we went from the aesthetic perspective, meaning I'm not going to be eating food and I'm eating less, to like with the more of a holistic perspective where, okay, the digestion, the cognitive function, which is all great, but they're two different things. So in terms of dieting, right? In terms of like weight loss, in terms of either excessively adding calories or restricting calories, why do you want to stay away from the artificial stuff?
I just feel like it's not healthier. I don't look at it as I'm trying to be skinny. I'm just trying to be healthy.
Okay.
So I see it as a better health option.
Okay. So then going back to the word diet meaning die, how do you associate those two together?
I don't like restricting.
Okay.
Like I've seen those fad diets where it's like the keto diet, you're putting your body in a state of keto. Like that's not good. I don't see that as, isn't that meant for diabetics? And you're supposed to be under the watch of your doctor
For what?
for the keto diet. Like things like that. Hold on, I have my notes. Because I feel like, yeah, so the keto diet, right? The
Okay.
notes that I have, it says this diet gets its name from the metabolic state ketosis, which is the process of your body breaking down ketone bodies from fat for energy instead of carbohydrates. This diet is hard to maintain and can be counterproductive to your health if not done under the instruction from a medical professional. So everybody jumped on that fad and people got really sick and it was instant gratification. But then a few months down the line, they gain all that weight back with health issues.
because it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
But why though?
I don't know.
Okay. So so let me ask this. So there are a lot of trends out there, right? Let's go with the ketosis thing. How does ketosis work?
You got me.
Okay. All right. So and this is what I'm trying to get around. So like we hear a lot of stuff, and if you ask people certain questions, they'll regurgitate the initial answer. But most people really don't have the deep understanding of what they're doing as far as diet stuff goes. You look at ketosis. Ketosis is a survival mechanism.
Okay.
Going back, every living, breathing thing biologically in this world goes through a state of ketosis, right? It is your body utilizing fat for energy versus carbohydrates, right? Which is the way your body's really meant to work. Like, we're not really meant to have high carbohydrate diets. Look at animals out in the wild. Are they eating rice? Are they eating burritos? Are they eating bread or muffins or or the sugar? No, now they'll have some sugars from fruits.
Yeah.
But as far as the average animal's diet goes, you look at a carnivore, right? They're going to be eating meat, and the meat has fat inside of it. So the thing with ketosis is most people, what I find from a gym perspective, right? People are so used to carbohydrates in their diet, their bodies crave sugar and they know what they need for it. So their insulin sensitivity goes through the roof. Then they go on a diet or a fad diet, right? Because they're somebody found one specific part of the way the body works to monetize, to say, hey, here's the secret. The secret is there's no secret.
Right.
They're just utilizing certain things. They're coming up with a program behind it to make money on people. So when you do the keto, you're reducing down all your carbohydrates. And in theory, you're supposed to be living off of protein and fats, right? Now, the way the work works science-wise is by your body not having carbohydrates, it's going to look for a new fuel source, in this case, fat. Whether it's dietary fat or the fat from your fat cells, your body will be more willing and able to want to convert fat to energy versus carbohydrates. That's why when people start working out sometimes, they'll go to the gym, their first day, they start getting lightheaded, nauseous, dizzy, they pass out. And you ask them, did you eat today? They're like, yes, I did eat. So it's not a low blood sugar thing like they didn't have anything to eat. The problem is their body's so quick to want to go to carbohydrates for energy that now you take away all the carbohydrates that are there, it doesn't know how to convert glycogen from fat. And your blood sugar drops, where you'll have somebody where you're probably in this boat now where you could not work out, go do a deadlift session, and you're fine. But if you did that when you first started working out, your body wasn't conditioned to that. Just like if I had somebody deadlift and I put 300 pounds in the bar, are they going to lift it? No. But they'll get used to it, and they'll build up to it, and eventually you can sustain it. How are people going days, if not weeks back in the day without eating? Your body gets used to it. How do people in third world countries who don't have access to the same foods and resources that we do, how can they go weeks upon end without eating and still survive? Because their body learns how to break down other energy sources. Fat's a phenomenal energy source. You look at the caloric value behind proteins, carbs, and fats, right? 1 gram of protein has 4 calories per gram. 1 gram of carbohydrate has 4 calories per gram. 1 gram of alcohol has 7. Believe it or not, most people don't know that, right? And 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. So you're looking in terms of an energy efficiency perspective. I can eat a little bit of fat and get a huge amount of calories, right? Which is great if you're burning off a ton of calories. You guys remember Michael Phelps 10 years ago? The 10,000 calorie a day diet?
Yeah.
So the reason why Michael Phelps had to eat 10,000 calories is because the swimming pool he was training in was 4 degrees colder than what he was used to training in. And there's it's 29 times more thermogenically stimulating on your body than air is as far as water goes. The water will pull more heat from your body than the air will. This is why the cold plunge thing works so well. So you go in the water, your body's just losing heat. It's just losing body heat. So how do you generate heat? By burning calories. So yeah, don't be wrong, swimming is a tough workout, but at the same time, like, he's burning so many calories during that workout, just being in the pool. He needed to eat 10,000 calories. Have you guys ever tried eating 10,000 calories?
No, maybe.
If you go out at night, have some drinks, and then eat the nachos, maybe.
But what do you have with the nachos?
Liquor.
Okay, but what do you eat?
Nacho? Oh, what's on the nachos?
You don't just eat nachos plain. I mean,
nachos. Yeah, you have the beans,
beef,
you have the meat, you have the cheese,
all the fat,
all the cheese, and
all
the fats.
all the fats.
Yeah.
1 gram of fat has 9 calories inside of it.
Man,
The meat's got fat, the guac's got fat, the sour cream's got fat, the cheese has got fat. Things that taste good have fat inside of them. Let's call it a spade.
it's delicious.
It's unbelievably delicious. But for somebody like Michael Phelps who needs to eat 10,000 calories a day, do you think he wants to eat chicken and rice and feel stuffed and bloated, or does he want to try to get the biggest bang for his buck? You know what I'm trying to say? If you guys were going to do a podcast and you had to manage your time efficiency, hey, we can only do 3 podcasts this week. I know if we bring this clown in, we can get 1, maybe 2 good pieces of content. But if we bring this person in, he's interesting, we can get like 17 pieces of content. Which one are you going for?
Right.
Yeah.
You're going for the efficiency. It's the same way with calories. So it's not a matter that fats are bad or that the keto diet's bad. It's that most people, one, they aren't ready to go straight from burning off carbs as their main energy source to fats.
So what's your opinion then on the keto diet, and what would you rather burn calories from fat or the carbohydrates? What's your opinion?
There's no right or wrong diet. There's pros and cons. Let's look at some of the pros right now. One of the big cons to the keto diet is most people don't eat organically because it's expensive. Let's call it
It's very expensive.
It's very expensive. So you're looking at the keto diet. Now you look at like the hormones, right? All the additives, all the chemicals, all the stuff you guys are talking about, which is worse for females because you guys use also stuff like hair care products, makeup, perfumes, which make you guys look lovely. But all those chemicals get absorbed into your body.
Yes.
Right?
And our skin is our largest organ.
And guess where they get stored? In your fat cells. Suzanne Summers did a video years ago about, I was using isogenics for one of the diet plans we use for our clients, and they were big on detoxification. So one of the reasons why people have such a hard time burning body fat is there's so many toxins stored in their fat cells. Like the example she gave, right? You got your house, right? And you got kids, so you can relate to this. If your house is like mine with our kids, it's a mess sometimes. Even when it's clean, it's still.
When it's clean, it's a clean mess.
But you get a phone call from your married, single,
married.
Perfect. So you get a phone call from your in-laws. Hey, we're stopping by today, and I'm sure your mother-in-law is lovely, but let's just say for a second, in case she's listening, she's very judgy, right?
Oh yeah.
So the second she walks in your house, she's gonna judge the living. She's not gonna tell you. She's gonna tell your husband. And she's gonna nag him about it. So what's your first reaction gonna be? Probably the same way as mine. Let me just get rid of all this. So what do? You store it in the bed. You store it in the closet, so out of sight, out of mind. But it's still there. That's what your body does with toxins. So when your body has a natural detoxification process, but it's so overloaded from all the extras we put inside of it, from the environment, from the atmosphere, from the chemicals and the products we put on and in our bodies, the stuff we have inside of our food, your body physically can't detoxify all that stuff fast enough, so it looks for a plan B. Your body's plan B is taking those toxins, storing it inside the fat cells, and keeping them away from the organs to protect it. Now, I don't know if you ever went on a diet and got sick randomly out of nowhere, right? What happens is as you're releasing toxins as you're burning body fat, you're releasing that glycogen back into your bloodstream, and your body's also releasing those stored toxins back into your bloodstream. It could be a cold, it could be whatever. And if your body doesn't have a way to get all that stuff out fast enough, it's going to naturally try to protect itself again and store it right back in the fat cells. That's why people who do periods of detoxification with a diet, like if they did it with keto, it would work better because your body's not fighting itself. Okay, we got to burn calories, but we got to store the toxins away. And it's in this constant battle. Do we burn the fat or do we keep the fat because we need to keep the stuff away from our organs because we're not getting rid of it fast enough? That's one of the battles your body has. So why do I mention that in terms of keto, right? In terms of keto, you're eating fat and protein. Guess where most of the additives in animals and everything else you're eating are getting stored? In the fat. Yeah. So most people aren't eating the highest quality. Like you might look at one or two things like, yeah, I'm going to buy the grass-fed steak. Yeah, I'm going to get the free-range chicken. But are you getting like the grass-fed cheese? Are you asking where the milk in your coffee was coming from? Yeah. And even if they tell you something, they might be lying because it's cheaper. Let's call it a spade. I love Dunkin' Donuts like everybody else, but there's been a few Dunkin' Donuts that have been caught doing shady, as most places do. So we're paying attention to the things that are in front of us, but when we look at the overall picture, you're never going to catch everything. So one of the downsides of keto is that, yes, you can be getting a lot of toxins and quote-unquote, lack of a better phrase, bad just through your dieting process. Now, a lot of people, they're also taking in higher levels of fat. Some people have heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. My father's side is Puerto Rican. So, like, we have high cholesterol, high blood pressure naturally. Yeah. So it's just like Doug, we all do. Everybody who's, like, somewhat Puerto Rican or Hispanic is, like, shaking their head right now. It's like, yeah. Yeah. So, but now you look at, you're just eating all fat. It's going to raise your blood pressure. It's going to raise your cholesterol. Most people, they're already in dangerous levels of having higher body fat percentages, and now you're adding fat to your diet. So is it the right move for a lot of people? Yeah, okay, from a weight loss perspective, it makes sense, but from a health perspective, it might not be the right thing for the right person. And then a lot of people, the biggest one I see, all that other stuff is little stuff. The biggest thing I see is most people think keto is a free-range hall pass to eat whatever they want. Yes, it doesn't have carbs in it. And most people have never gone through the process because at the end of the day, they don't know how many calories they're taking in. They don't know how many calories they're taking out. You can eat the best food in the world, but if you're eating more calories than you're taking off, your body is going to store fat.
So then what's your opinion on how to properly, like, how do you start? I don't like counting calories. What would you suggest?
Why don't you like counting calories?
I feel like I don't want to spend
because
extra
it's a lot
time.
of work.
Okay.
It's a lot of work. It's tedious.
What's the easiest way to
I think
start?
The biggest thing, and you can attest to this, is that one of the things that separates us from every other facility out there is that we just don't go straight to the basics. If you were my client and we were sitting down and we were having the talk, I would say, why don't you like counting calories? And we're going to figure out what it is about counting calories you don't like. Because at the end of the day, and I'm just going to do little pieces of my history, and I don't think anybody listening is going to be shocked that a gym guy is saying this. I've done every steroid under the world possible, and I've done lots of them, trying to burn body fat, right? Listen, I was the former fat kid that fat kids made fun of. I was 250 pounds in the 5th grade. I
Oh
was
my
a big,
God.
and it's a kind of
In
trying
fifth
time in my
grade,
life, and the jaw drop. Oh my God, that's a big kid.
That is.
Thanks.
I'm like, my daughter's in 5th grade.
Yeah,
Wow,
all right.
that's.
Uh-huh.
How tall were you?
Well, not tall enough to weigh 250.
She said not tall enough.
So
to
at
weigh
the end of the,
250.
why do I say that? I didn't give a how I lost the weight. I just wanted to lose it.
You just wanted a gun.
I just wanted to lose the weight. So at the end of the day, you got to burn off more calories. So I would figure out with somebody, why don't you like counting your calories? And once we figured out what the issue was, I would show them why it's beneficial and why it's going to help them.
Okay.
How many hours a week do you spend in the gym?
A day. I
week.
spend
A week.
at least 10.
Okay,
I
10.
spend 2 hours a day.
Okay, 10 hours a week in the gym.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Lifting?
Lifting, stretching, cardio.
Okay. What kind of injuries have you sustained, or tightnesses, ailments, all that stuff? I got my neck stuff and everything, but what do you have? What pain do you have to live with on a daily basis? As
It went away though with
Okay.
the stretches. So I just jumped on Google and started learning certain stretches.
Okay.
And that alleviated a lot of my pain. And losing weight took
Okay.
away a lot of my pain. But a lot of the pain it was in my hips and my back from an old injury.
Okay.
And my neck. But I
Okay.
think my neck is I'm looking down at my phone all day. Like,
It is. That's most people.
That's all of us. It's
Okay.
to be expected.
So what if I told you that by counting your calories,
and I
you
pulled
can
a
cut,
muscle.
Okay. What if I told you by counting your calories, you can cut your workout time to a third? Effective workout time. Because going back to my story, I took every steroid I could for the longest time, but I never focused on counting my calories, right? I ate very clean. I ate very well. I ate multiple times a day, but I never counted my calories. And what happens is your food is what lets your body respond to the workouts that you're doing. It lets you
Right.
respond to those 10 hours a week you're doing, positively or negatively. What is your goal in the gym right now? If I was a magic genie and I could say whatever you tell me, you're going to get it right now. But you had to verbalize it.
I want a big old booty
Like
and a
define big.
small waist.
Okay, so you want a small waist, right?
No,
So-
I want the big butt first, like
Okay.
the big thighs, legs. Yeah, I want all of that.
So how much muscle would you say you have to put on, and how much body fat would you say you'd have to lose if you're just blindly taking a shot in the dark to get to that point?
I don't know. My legs are already strong.
Okay.
I did track and cross country in high school.
Okay.
So the muscles, they're there. It's more, I need to build the backside.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get all that, but portioned. Like I want to make sure my calves are big.
Okay.
And I don't just have big quads and small calves.
Okay.
Because I see that a lot too. So just the whole aesthetic.
Okay, so aesthetics,
Yeah,
right? Okay.
I like the aesthetic.
So if I said, show me a picture of what you want to look like right now.
Mother Russia.
Oh.
It's from a movie, Mother Russia. If you look on Kick-Ass 2.
Okay.
Let me get my
Okay.
phone. She's a bodybuilder. She's a Russian bodybuilder.
Okay.
And man, let me tell you, she's in that movie. That was the first time I was like, whoa, I
Okay.
want to look like that.
So watch this, right? So you're talking about, I do my strength, I do this, I do my lifting, I do that. But everything you just said about what you want has to do with aesthetics and an aspect of trimming down and toning. So let's look at the variables here. You got how many calories you eat. You have how many calories you burn off being alive. You have how many calories you burn off a day going through your day. You have how many calories you burn off right now in your workout. How many calories a day do you burn off in your workouts?
If I pay attention to my watch, about 500 to 600.
Okay, cool. So we burn 500 to 600 calories in our workout.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. How many calories are we eating a day right now?
A lot.
Okay, you don't know a number.
But since you've shown Celli how to do all of that, I have her in my ear whenever I order something. If we're on the phone, she'll say, "Oh, how many calories is that?" And I'm like, "I'll just choose something else." So like I do have a little bit of like I'm a little conscious of.
But wait, I don't want you to
switching.
choose something else. I just want you to know how many calories it had.
I just figure if it's lower.
No. It
Just go
doesn't.
for the
No,
lower
I
option.
just want you to start knowing what it is you're consuming.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't
let me
just-
ask you this, not to cut you off. How do you think we got her to make that last big turnaround? Because there's been multiple phases. Like the last real big progression where she dropped, I put up a post for the InBody when she made that big drop in 2 or 3 weeks. How do you think she got that?
Was it counting calories?
But you think she was eating less or eating more?
Oh no, I know she was eating more.
She had to eat more.
Yeah.
So you might be thinking you're eating enough calories, but you might not be eating. You might be eating too much, or you might not be eating enough. The number one thing that we change with people, and listen, I've written programs, I've written books, I designed programs. I've been doing this for 25 years. The number one way, if I want to change somebody's diet the fastest way possible, Yeah, that's going to be all aesthetics right there. So it's a matter of,
From the picture.
are you giving your body the calories it needs to properly respond to the work you're doing and the goal you're trying to get to? That's going to be the bridge.
Okay.
You might want to put muscle on in your legs, but if you're eating 1,000 calories a day, so let's just say, I'm going to assume like just average numbers. Let's say I'm going to use my one client from this morning, right? Mom, 2 kids, 42 years old. She weighs about $140, right? Average mom works out. She's not going to do any bodybuilding shows, but she can hold her own at the gym. Average person, right? She burns off her basal metabolic rate, which is the total number of calories your body burns off every day just being alive. Meaning, if you did nothing except sit in a chair and watch Netflix, your body's going to burn X amount of calories just to sustain life. That individual, her BMR was about, we'll say 1,400 calories, right? Which is average for people, which is average for a female, 1,400 calories. So you have 1,400 calories being alive, right? Then you have to look at how many calories you're burning off throughout your workout. Let's say you're burning off those 500 or 600 calories still. Okay, great. That's 2,000. Now let's just say going throughout the rest of your day, you burn off another 1,000 calories, walking to and from, carrying stuff, just living your life, walking the dog, bringing the laundry basket up and down the stairs, carrying stuff, mowing the lawn, whatever you might do in your day, right? That's 3,000 calories. So you're burning off 3,000 calories-ish. You're assuming you're eating 3,000 calories. You're spending 16 hours, you're spending 10 hours a week, each week, every week of the year in the gym. You're getting stronger, but some people wouldn't be seeing results from that. Yeah, they're getting muscle, but they're not doing anything to burn the fat. So in actuality, they're getting the appearance of getting fatter because they're not burning the fat off while building the muscle. So they're just getting more girth. And they're like, well, why isn't this working?
So is that when people bulk up?
What happened?
You know how people have those bulk up seasons? That's when they bulk up. It's when they want to get more girthy.
When you bulk up, you're trying to eat, you need excess calories to build muscle faster. Your body will build muscle in a caloric deficit, just not as fast. The stimulation of resistance training and high amounts of protein, even in a caloric deficit, will cause you to burn muscle, to build muscle. Just not as fast because most of your calories can't be dedicated to building muscle. It's dedicated to survival. So you might be putting all this time, energy, and effort into the gym where you're just breaking even on everything. Maybe you're burning off a little bit more than what you're taking in, and you're killing yourself at the gym. Maybe overusing your hip, maybe overusing your neck, maybe doing certain exercises more in addition to leaning forward that are putting strains on your neck and your back, where if you just looked at your calories and said, hey, if I reduce down my calories by 500 and I just create a 500 calorie deficit every day, whether it's through dieting down 500 calories, burning an extra 250 calories off, or doing half and half, right? 500 calories 7 days a week is 3,500 calories. 1 pound of fat, ironically, is 3,500 calories. You'd be burning a pound of body fat a week just from doing that, by just reducing down your diet a little bit.
And what if you do want to bulk up? What do you suggest?
Then you have to figure out how many calories you're burning off, and then you have to eat more than that.
Wow.
So there's 4 numbers we look at, and it's a lot easier on an Apple. You have an Apple phone?
Yeah.
Okay, if you said Android, I'd have to walk right out right now. Like, you can't trust Android people, dude.
No, you can't.
You can't trust Android people.
It's a good product. Buy the iPhone. Like, they're gonna take over the world anyway and enslave us. So just enjoy it for the meantime. Anyway, but
Hop on the bandwagon.
so it's easier with the iPhone because the Android doesn't have a way to track it. But if you have an Apple Watch and an Apple phone, there's 4 simple numbers we look at, right? And this is all we teach, right? The first one, like I said, is your BMR. How many calories are you burning off a day? You need to know that number.
How do you find out that number?
It's so funny you would ask.
Love that question.
It's so funny
Love that
you would
question.
ask. We have a special $10,000 machine. I'm not lying. The thing's fucking expensive. At our gym, when you could stand on it, you take your socks and shoes off. You stand on it for 60 seconds, and it tells you that number.
Nice.
What it does, it sends different electrical currents, which you cannot feel through your body at different frequencies to test how much body fat, how much muscle mass, how much water weight you have. Celli came down when she first came down. She was putting effort and energy and commitment. She was motivated. And after 6 or 8 weeks, I can't remember the number, she only lost 1 pound on the scale.
Yep.
How would you feel if you put that kind of effort in and you're like, bro, I just gave you like $600 or $700 and I only lost 1 pound?
I felt so defeated.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Aw.
What were your thoughts?
The look on my face said it all.
What were the thoughts in your head?
I'm like, God damn, what am I doing wrong?
He swiped my card, all this shit. Trust me, I get it. But what was the first thing I said? Let's go step on the in body.
Yeah.
Because how did we lose that weight? There was only a 1 pound difference in terms of total weight on the scale. By going on the in-body testing, how much muscle mass did we gain or lose?
Yep.
How much body fat did we gain or lose? How much water weight did we gain or lose?
Yeah.
She might have had her period one test and not the other. You might have drank a lot of water, not the other.
Yeah, I share a lot with my coach, by the way.
There's a lot of variables that go into that. So we said, I can't remember the numbers exactly, but I want to say during that same period where she only lost 1 pound on the scale, because we tested, because we looked at her BMR, we tracked her calories, we tracked her workout calories, we tracked every single number we could track to see what was truly going on. Most coaches just piss blindly in the wind when it comes to guessing stuff for their clients. Yes, we're going to be best guessing, but we're going to be best guessing off of data. So by looking at all those numbers, we were able to make some changes. And I said, listen, let's add 200 calories to your diet. She looked at me like I was crazy, like everybody does. But I said, give me a week, right? And then we tested again and we tested again. During that time, we found out she actually put on 5 pounds of muscle and lost 7 pounds of body fat. So there was actually a 12-pound difference, a conversion of 12 pounds in her body, composition-wise.
Oh, it's that part, the conversion.
The conversion.
I like that you said that.
Listen, I'm a salesperson. I used to sell life insurance for a living. A very brief period of time in my life, but I would sell you the world. No, but and I say that because and if my wife's going to listen to this, she'll laugh, because I am a very manipulative individual.
Oh, no.
I am like the worst person in the, but I understand that about myself, but I only use my talents for the greater good. Meaning,
that's good.
I will manipulate somebody to do something if I think it's in their best favor.
Okay,
like
so
if
you're the good villain.
Yeah, like I had a girl that
like
reached out to me.
Megamind.
Yeah, I had a girl reach out to me 2 weeks ago. She was a client of mine for years. This girl I love her to death, but she finds every excuse why she can't work out. Oh, I work 60 hours a week. You only work 60 hours a week? Okay. Loser. Oh, my kids have sports. Well, both of your kids? My one client's got 4 kids in sport. And she's a single parent. Or I don't have the money. Yeah, she's always putting up pictures of fucking going on vacations and hashtag 40 years old, hashtag living my best life, hashtag kill me now. Anyway, but she's putting up all this stuff, but she has reason after reason why she can't do it. And she called me a year ago, basically crying on the phone. Jay, I got to get back in shape. I'm not happy. I turned 40. I'm getting divorced. Just let everything go. Okay, great. Hey, let's sign up. I'll call you in a week. Never heard from her. She joined the fitness protection program. That's when people say they're going to join the gym and they disappear.
Fitness protection program. I love it.
Oh, you're going to hear all my one-liners. So then her friend comes back down about a week ago, resigns back up. Hey, I want to get so-and-so back into it. So I reach out to her. I'm like, hey, I heard little birdie said you want to get back into the gym. She's like, yeah, I got to lose weight. I'm like, great. Why don't you come down? Right away, rapid fire. We were in Iraq, and I used to run the machine guns, and she was firing off reasons why she couldn't do it faster than I can get rounds to her 240 golf. She was just like, boom. And I said to her, I'm like, you know what? This is going to work.
Good.
I'm like, you know what? Now's not the right time. No, I want to sign up. She even texted me a picture of her credit card over the phone to sign her up. I'm like, Susie, her name's not Susie. My Susie, listen, right? I'm not taking your money right now because I know you're not going to do this. So rather than having you get a little bit of an emotional burst to want to sign up and then feel some kind of way about it, when you're ready to stop it, we can revisit this again. But she even offered to pay me more. I'm like, no, because she's not going to do it.
I love that honesty.
Because like at the same time too, I don't want a bad reputation. Oh, he took my money. No, you just didn't want to do it. But at the same time, if somebody's not going to do it, I'm not going to take their money from them. I had another girl, right? But not phenomenal shape. We're always using her picture. There's like 5 or 6 people we always use for our social media stuff, and my VAs love these same 5 or 6 people. I'm like, can you use different photos? Like, you're using the same people every time. But she's that in shape, and she's that good with her form, and she's just, if she wanted to be a trainer, she absolutely could. 100%, and she'd crush it. And she's like, Jay, I want to do the 28-day challenge. So the 28-day challenge is we have a big 16-week online course that we used to sell for $3,000 that we basically give away for free now. We give the program away to people. If somebody said, I want the program, I'll just give it to them for free, right? Where we come in is implementation, accountability, and speed. If you need help implementing the stuff, because most people don't need that. They just need a diet. Here's the information. You can just Google, right? But this girl successfully ran the program multiple times, and she's, I want to join the 28-day challenge. I'm like, no, you don't need it. You know what to do. You're going to lose weight right away. You just have to make the decision. So I'm not just going to aimlessly take her money because she didn't need it. Now, a couple weeks later, she wanted to work with one of our other coaches to help some form for her squats and her techniques. And I'm like, yes, that you would benefit from. And I took her money then. But the point about being a manipulative individual is that if somebody needs something, I'm going to do everything in my power to get them to do that. And the InBody is one of those tools I have because I've seen this a lot with the teenage girls that come down. They come back they're trying to get over eating disorders. And we had one girl, she was bad, like very beautiful girl, very young, very, very nice, just a good person. And the parents came to me because I worked with them before. Jay, you got to help my daughter out. She had a relationship with food because life and society made her think she should be like rail thin, and she was literally killing herself. So we had to help her get a better relationship with food, right? So I said, Susie, again, her name's not Susie. That's just the name I use for everybody.
Everybody's name is Susie.
I'm like, Susie, listen, let me help. Because God forbid I mention her name, that'll be the person that's listening to this. You were talking about me. Yes, I was. Anyway, I would tell her, I'm like, look, just give me a week. Let's do it my way. We'll test again in 7 days. If I'm wrong, we'll do a bunch of cocaine and cardio. I was joking about. I was joking about trying to make her laugh. I'm like, we'll do a shit with cocaine and cardio. We'll lose weight together.
Cardio
in a minute.
Yeah, she laughed. I'm trying to make her feel good about it. But I'm like, and if I'm wrong, but if I'm right though, we got to do it for another 7 days.
So
Fair enough.
Giving her a week.
7 days.
Week.
You can do anything for 7 days.
Yeah.
She did it for 7 days. I'm like, look, you didn't get fat. You put a little bit of muscle on, but good for you. Let's do it again. And she jumped on the scale again. The scale went up a little bit, but it wasn't fat. It was muscle. And then little by little, we were able to get her to the point where now she's I forgot where they moved to, somewhere like southern Jersey. But she's like working out. She's eating. She's doing her thing. And she looks healthy.
Thank God.
Because we helped her reestablish that relationship with food. But I manipulated the fat of her with the in-body because I said, just give me 7 days. Right. And without that tool, we really can't make those kind of promises to people because I don't have facts and data to show people. Right. So just like with Celli, we said, listen, you got to eat more. We're going to change this number. We're going to change that number. We're going to test. And we're going to reconfirm. And one of two things is either going to happen. I am right, and we double down on it, and we keep going again. Or I am wrong, but we're going to see in the numbers where I am wrong, and then we'll know where to modify from there. Luckily, we happened to get it the first time down, and then she made a big difference.
Yeah.
But that's what we do for people is we pull them aside, and we show the importance and the value. Like, did I ever talk to you one time about working out? Yeah, I'll walk around. I'll check. I'll correct
my coach. I'll
correct your form, and I'll make sure you're not going to kill yourself. But am I ever like you need to do front squats instead of back squats?
Yeah.
Am I ever like let's say we're doing walking lunges, and you're like, oh, I can't do this today, my knee hurts. Am I like, no, this is such a vital part of the exercise. If you don't do this, just kill yourself now. Just don't even come back. No, I'm like, great, modify to this. Because from a weight loss perspective, it doesn't matter what the exercise is. How many calories did you burn? How many calories did you eat? It's literally the only two numbers that friggin' matter.
Okay.
Now, the workouts, do they have a place in it? Yes, if we're looking like at the bodybuilder perspective, right? Or if somebody has a very low body fat percentage, you can see aesthetically where the good curves are and where the bad curves are. It will help to sculpt and shape the actual form of your body. But from a weight loss perspective, it doesn't matter. And I think a lot of people are so jammed into these specific diets and these specific weight training programs and these specific classes that you have to do that you hate and that doesn't fit your lifestyle. Right. And if it feels like you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, it doesn't matter. You're not going to do it. You could tell me, Jay, you will have abs tomorrow if you eat cottage cheese 5 times a day. I just want to vomit thinking about it. I can't stand it. It's just, I want to vomit thinking about it. There's 3 things in my life I don't like: clowns, spiders, and cottage cheese. Right?
I'm right there with you with the cottage cheese.
Right?
I'm interested with the clowns.
It's long story. It's just weird. It's just weird.
I agree with the clowns too.
I'm just like, why? What do you get out of this?
It's the only time that white face is accepted.
Oh my God.
It's just I don't get it. But
so hold on. So I want to ask, I've heard it so many times, and there are people that they want to work out this one specific body part, but from what you're saying with the calories and working out, and from what I've learned on my own, that you can't target specific areas of where you're going to lose fat. It's a total body.
You can't. Now, your body will burn area. And I'm going to say, I don't 100% agree with that.
Okay, so...
And let me show you my experience, why I say that, because I can only talk from my experience. I can't talk for other people.
Right.
My experience is, if you ask who has the best set of arms in the world, it's going to be like MMA fighters, gymnasts, people like that who use their arms a lot. Their arms are ripped. If you say, hey, who's got the best legs in the world? They're going to say runners because they use their legs the whole time. Mm-hmm. So you can't tell me if you're using a particular body part over and over and over, that much more than the other parts, you're not going to burn a little more fat there. I've seen it mainly because the muscles are being worked more. You have more muscle mass there. It makes everything show more. You'll get the aesthetic. So when people say you can't spot train, yes, they're correct, but to a certain degree, they're not.
Okay.
And that's the thing. There's so many like shades of gray in fitness that like you can't really put an absolute rule on anything except the fact that it's calories in versus calories out. That's the only thing I tell people is a definite. As far as spot reduction going, when your body burns body fat, yes, you're going to burn fat equally all throughout your body. But there's certain spots you're going to see it more. Like if somebody has a little bit of weight in their face and a lot of weight around the midsection of hips, you're going to notice the face more.
Right.
If somebody has more weight in their midsection versus their arms, you're going to notice the arms more, especially if they're only doing, especially guys, they do all upper body, no legs. And of course, you're going to see the arms more because you're not training your legs, bro. Come on. Or like you look at,
Don't
like,
forget the legs.
Or you look at our female clients, a lot of girls train their legs. Very few do their upper body.
Right.
I'm upper body.
But it's for different reasons though.
Yeah.
Your reasons are different than the average person's. So muscle mass is the goal there. But for the average person who's just looking to burn in tone, so like when they walk in a room and somebody's laughing, they don't automatically think it's them. When it's the mom who walked in on her husband cheating on her with the babysitter, or the executive CEO who found a text message that was like from his wife's boyfriend, or all the random shit I hear from people.
Wow.
Like most people just want to lose weight.
Yeah.
I had one client whose kid was like, "Dad, why aren't you in shape like Billy's dad?" Just like little, and kids aren't mean. Kids are just being honest.
Yeah.
But those are the things that people are really working out for. Like she'll tell you when she came down and she gave me the goal she wanted initially, I kept digging deeper. Why? Because I'm going to throw that in your face the second you want to quit.
What was my goal? I wanted my skin
No, there's
removal.
deeper goals.
Oh.
If I sit there with somebody and I get 10 minutes to really peel back the layer of the onion enough,
Yeah.
people are motivated by two things: gaining pleasure or avoiding pain. And most people, 80% of the people out there, are going to be motivated by avoiding pain versus gaining pleasure. You could put anybody in this room right now and give me 10 minutes. I will take whatever they think is their positive goal. Oh, I'm doing it for this. There's really some motivating factor that they're trying to get away from that will motivate the head of them to get to
Absolutely.
there. And I think the problem is most people who don't hit their goals is because they have goals. You could say, oh, I want to have a goal to be able to go to the beach and have my shirt off, right? Okay, great. That's cool. How many years have you been saying that? Didn't happen. Where if you peel back the layer of the onion enough and find out the reason why he wants to have his shirt off is because he feels uncomfortable with his body to the point where he thinks people are laughing at him, they're talking about him. He feels like people make him feel like less of a person than when he is. He has flashbacks to when he was younger and people would make fun of him in class, or somebody would fart and automatically blame it on him. All the childhood trauma, all this that happens in our lives. Those are the things he's really trying to get away for. Having abs to be able to go to the beach without a shirt on, that's just a byproduct of getting to that original goal, which is I will do anything to get away from that other one. So, like, the problem with most people is that they just have goals and they're they don't have something they're running away from. So that's why I tell people, you got to get a little dark with your goals. If you ask me, oh, Jay, what's your goal? I'm trying to work. My workouts have changed because I got my back pain and my neck pain. Years of just working out with improper form, which is why I know all this. And just sitting and sleeping are the two biggest things that help me up. I always say sitting is the new smoking because it just ruins your body. Between sitting down in front of the computer, texting, driving, our necks and our backs are shot. It's just everybody. That's why my kid just got his 4th concussion playing football.
Oh, no.
We never had concussions when we were growing up. Because we weren't on our cell phones. We weren't playing video games. We weren't just like, we were out being active. Hey, Mom, what are you doing? Hey, my mom asked me, hey, Jay, what are you doing today? Oh, Mom, I'm going to go out with my friends. Which really means I'm going to climb some trees, probably fall down 3 times, jump some shady ramp that has nails sticking out of it,
Go to the
run away from the
quarry.
police 5 or 6 times, and go hop a fence or maybe 2. I don't know. I don't have enough time today. That's what being a kid meant. We were active.
Yeah.
Where nowadays, or even if you were just hanging out on the block, right? I heard you crack the joke before I came from the streets. You were on the corner, standing up, hanging out, moving around, not like sitting down in your basement playing friggin' what the hell is my Fortnite with your friends.
Yeah.
People do not have the same structural integrity of their bodies, which is why the concussion rate for kids is through the roof now because their bodies just can't handle what we used to do.
Wow.
Anyway, I went off on a tangent. Where was I?
That's
That happens
Well,
so
so
often. to me.
I have no. That's fine.
Getting
Go
the
ahead.
body goals, actual body goals.
Oh
and
yeah,
getting
good. So
dark with
case in
them.
point. So my goal, right? Like I could always say that's how I got my back and my neck. I'm working to be pain free again, right? Because now being pain free, it's a great goal, but the deeper, darker goal is that I can't do the things that I've come to use to define me. I can't do the exercises. I can't do the level of intensity. I don't have that balls to the wall, infinite energy tank of gas that I can literally do anything and outwork any person in the room. I don't have that strength. I don't have that same stamina. I don't have the very things that to my core I use to define myself. And that sucks. And every year that goes by is a little percent more I lose of that, and that scares the out of me.
Yeah.
Let's go back 10 years when I was trying to get abs, and I gave it about being the biggest, most ripped guy in the room. I didn't give it about having abs. I can give two about what people thought about me in the gym. I was so afraid of getting fat again, I would do anything to not go back to that, which is where most people get stuck with their diets when we come down to talk with them, because I told them they got to eat more. And they're afraid about getting fat. So rather than taking a chance on doing the things they need to do to get back in shape, which is why the InBody is such an amazing tool because it helps show people it's not going to happen. We got a girl we're working with right now. She's drastically under eating, and she looks phenomenal. Strong girl, very athletic, but she's not getting to the goals she should be to. And she needs to eat more to be able to get to that point. But she's so afraid of getting fat again. She would rather sit there and struggle and suffer with where she's at and she's comfortable with versus risking going outside and stepping outside her comfort zone. She doesn't have dark enough goals. Like, she needs to get something to the point where she needs to figure out something that's going to motivate her, where the pain of change is so much less than the pain of staying the same. That's what's going to motivate you to start counting your calories. Get out of bed at 5:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning, like you're about to have to start doing. Or to do the things you have to do when you don't have the ability to do them. Like the girl I was just referring to who gave me every excuse under the sun, the one who working 60 hours a week is a big thing for her. What is your goal? If your goal was truly, hey, I'm afraid I'm going to die single because I'm in my 40s and I have to start over again and nobody's going to want to date me the way I want and I'm going to be the single lady with the cats who's never going to have love again and let me just accept this right now. If she really sat and thought about that for 5 minutes every night before she went to sleep, she would have no problem waking her up in the bed to get out. Or I'm just going to go really deep if that's okay. I'm going to go a little dark.
Go ahead.
Or like some of my clients, they've been dating, right? You ever been like just really rejected? Like really rejected by somebody because like you didn't look a certain way they wanted? Focus on that. Think about that. And let that, like whether it's revenge or I need to change, whatever it is, let those negative emotions motivate you to change, to do the thing that you don't want to do. It's a matter of what do you want to do less? People always say, oh, Jay, this is hard. I'm like, yeah, you know what else is hard? Living with regret.
Well,
But it really is.
He says it to me on a daily.
I had a friend, and it's what really propelled me into getting back into fitness because I've always been in and out. Literally my whole life. My uncles were bodybuilders. So that's why like I'm in that kind of bodybuild mindset. I do want to do a show eventually. But my one friend, we went to New Orleans and I remember standing in front of the mirror and I grabbed my stomach and I shook and I'm like, oh, I hate this. She turned around and she was like, if you don't stop complaining and do something about it, I don't want to hear anything out your mouth again. She was like, just stop. Either you fix it or we have a few drinks and eat and you stop complaining about it. But she was like, but this in between, she was enough. And I looked at her like, okay. And we went to the gym. We were tipsy as hell. We went to the gym the next morning. And I remember I put a post up like, I smell like liquor and burgers and you could smell the fatty foods coming out of my pores. But it was that conversation where she got dark with me where it was like, no, either you shut up about not liking how you look right now or you get to the gym and just do it.
Most people will never be that brutally honest with you.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to tell you it's okay.
Yeah,
or it's fine.
I like how you
am
say
the
the
person
darker
where
goals.
if you don't want scary answers, don't ask scary questions.
Yeah.
My wife won't ask me sometimes because she knows I'm going to tell her.
But
I don't care about hurting your feelings. I care about you not getting what you want. I'd rather you hate me for a few minutes versus like, why weren't you honest with me?
Right.
The ones that shoot you straight.
I love that about all of you guys there because you all are like that there. We're not allowed to say I can't.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the dirty looks that I've gotten when I've said I can't. I've rethought my whole, I was like, at the moment, that's not something I feel I'm able to do.
No, but that's a better answer.
No,
Because
yeah,
when you tell
I
yourself
do
materializes.
Yeah.
That really works.
Yeah.
You listen to anybody who's successful in any way, shape, or form, working out, business, life, relationships, that you say to yourself will program your mind.
Yeah.
If we would never, that we say to ourselves on a daily basis, we would never let somebody say to ourselves, say to somebody else. If I was in a room and somebody said to me what I say to myself, I would knock them the out. But why do we allow ourselves to do that? It's just the basic truth.
It's true.
You
but
know?
we coddle, everybody wants to be coddled. They don't want that honesty.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
and I think
people are
honesty.
used to being coddled. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Back in the day when people weren't used to being coddled, you can get a hard dose of reality and you can tolerate it. Doesn't mean you liked it, but you were able to tolerate it. Now, people are so used to, my feelings and safe spaces and coloring books and support this. It's like, no, sometimes you need a fucking kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
One of the best things in life that ever happened to me was going to prison. I needed a hard fuck in my life to figure out, hey, you need to change some. And if I never would have got that, who knows? I wouldn't have been like, I wasn't a delinquent, but who knows what level of mediocrity I would have accepted in my life.
Right.
If I would have made the changes I needed to make or became the person, the lovely ray of sunshine that I am today. Because sometimes you need sometimes hitting the rock bottom is the best thing in the life for you, because rock bottom is a great foundation to build the rest of your life back up from.
Right.
Love
And you
that.
can build a stronger foundation.
Yeah.
I really like my biggest takeaway from this are what are your darker goals? I'm using that. Oh, I'm going to use that for everything.
You have to. And the
What are
thing
your
is,
darker
most
goals?
people will not be able to handle that kind of conversation, whether you're having it with them or describing it to them. But people who got there together, like, they're the ones who will be like, okay, no, I can relate to you. I got it. Because they do the same. There's a conversation that I stayed as far away from as I could. We were in the gym, like 2 or 3 months ago. It was the trainers, my wife, and a couple of the members, like the Cool Kids crew, right? So they're having a conversation about who's like the top 5 or 6 girls in the gym are. Who's the strongest, who's got the best abs, who's the leanest, all the stuff, right? They tried bringing me into this conversation. I said, I'm not touching that. Get away from me. But I was listening to what they're saying because I don't want to be like, well, Jay said. No, I know better. I've been alive 42 years. They're not trapping me in that. But I listened to what they were saying, and they were all, and they were talking about 4 or 5 people. But the same 10 or 11 names, maybe 12, kept kicking around by everybody, right? And I know all those 10 or 12 people very well. I've known them for years. They've let me into some really dark personal stuff. We really get to know our clients. And what I could tell you is that they're all up in psychos.
Aren't we all?
No, but here's the thing. The reason why they're as successful as they are is because there's a level of just like self-doubt and insecurity that will not let them be average and ordinary. Most people are worried about if they're working too hard. The winners give it everything they have, and they're still worried about, did I give it enough today?
Yes.
And most people go through their lives wanting this and wanting that, and I want to lose weight, or I want to put on muscle, or I want to look like this, or I want to have this business, or any of the things that people say for themselves. But most people never really truly understand the level of insecurity and self-doubt and self-inflicted torture that goes into a daily basis to get there and to maintain it. And most people are not willing to make that trade. And that craziness is part of the reason why they don't let themselves slip out of it. And we were doing Instagram podcast a couple months ago, and you asked me a question, and I can't remember exactly what the question was, but somebody asked me one time, and I heard this, so I was able to respond to it the way I did, where the question was pretty much like, Jay, what do you think makes you so successful? What do you have that other people don't? And I'm like, it's not a matter of what I have. It's what I don't have. And those 12 people that I was talking about, or anybody who's like really successful, like grossly above average and ordinary successful, they're missing this too. They don't have an off switch. It never turns off. I wake up 2 a.m, go to bed like 9, 10 o'clock. I'm thinking about, what am I going to do to grow my business? What am I going to do to get more clients? What am I going to do to become a better trainer, become a better husband, coach, whatever. You put a name to it, right? What am I going to do to get better and move closer to my goals? It never shuts off. I don't take days off. I don't take vacations. I don't take an hour to find myself or any of that stuff. Like, I literally work, and if I'm not working, I'm spending time with my wife and my kids, right? Or I'm working out because I have another call I got to get to. And I don't know how to shut it off. I miss family functions. I miss important events in my kids' lives. I miss important things from my wife. I'm a horrible person because I don't know how to turn it off, which means every single part of me is invested in that, and that's why I'm able to maintain and grow. And it's the fact that I don't know how to turn it off and have the work-life balance. That's why I'm able to do what I do. And I'm a very firm believer that you get balance through mass periods of imbalance. We have kids that come to us that want to work and be trainers, and what would be considered a master trainer, right? Somebody who's really good. You'll make, if somebody's paying $100 for a personal training session, the master trainer would get 65 or 70% of it, right? Top pay. Newer trainers will get like 30, 35% because there's other expenses that go involved, but you see the difference in the math, right? New kid comes out. They see me walking around the gym, right? This is back at one of the other gyms he was working at. I got a cup of coffee in my hand. I'm not even wearing my shirt. Yeah, I wear black, but I'm not wearing like the logo shirt or my name tag. And I'm getting top paint. I'm always busy. These come out and they want to, they like wet behind the ears. They still can't even, the ink on their certification is not even dry yet. And they're like, I want to be like Jay. What do you mean you want to be like Jay? Why is he allowed to walk around with a cup of coffee and no name tag and I'm not? Everybody in this building knows my name because I made sure they knew my name.
Right.
I don't even know you work here. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Like they don't put the time in, or they're like, I want to make six. I want to make top pay too. Why do you feel like you should make top pay? How are you getting clients? Oh, we're still giving them to you. That's marketing. Who's doing your payroll? Oh, we got to fix your. I got to pay some money to do that. Oh, we're still training you. That costs money too. People don't understand the work that goes into shit like that, and they want results right away, but they don't understand the work that goes in, the effort that goes in, and it's. There goes another tangent again.
That's okay.
I just go off on tangents, but that's
I love it.
that's the difference is that like some people want to do the minimums in life, and it's a theme, whether it's work, weight loss, dieting, counting calories, not caloring calories, whatever. Or some people are going to do whatever it takes, and they're still worried. Did I do enough?
Right.
I get home from work and I'm like, did I call enough people today? Did I train enough people? Was class good? People walk out of class like, oh man, that was a great class. That was the best class. I'm like, I didn't like it. Like, what do you mean you didn't like it? I'm like, it wasn't, especially the ones I do with people. I'm like, it was missing something. It wasn't there. And I'll walk out pissed off. I'll have 25 people in a class. They're all sweating. They're all like, man, that was great. And I'll be pissed off. Didn't have what I wanted. Because it's that constant drive to like where it never gets turned off. Where like, how would we apply this to dieting? All right, what can I do to get better? I don't want to count calories. All right, is that going to get me to the next level? Yeah. All right, well, I got to learn how to count calories.
Right.
Why? Because it's going to give me results faster. I could tell you one of our biggest taglines is we show people how to get 3 to 5 years in results in 3 to 5 months. Why? Because we show you how to do it faster.
Yeah.
We show you the calorie aspects rather than pissing blindly into the wind with your workouts or your diet, hoping you're doing the right stuff. I'm getting stronger, I'm getting the muscle, but I'm not losing the body fat, which was my problem for years. Counting calories will solve your problem because now you're giving your body what it needs. And like I heard this phrase and it fits perfectly, passively jacked mode. Passively jacked is just like I don't do half of the weights I should be doing. I work out like 5 days a week. I'm not doing any of the steroids I used to do back in the day. You figure I cut my down by tremendously, probably like 70% less than what I'm doing. But people are like, how do you still maintain what you have? I'm like, because I put the work in the beginning and I have the foundation. So luckily I'm able to enjoy / survive off the fruits of that labor from beforehand. Most people never put that labor in, so they don't get the results. Right. They do the minimums. Where I was like you, 2-3 hours a day in the gym, 17 days a week. I was doing all the lifts. I was doing deadlift squats and leg presses all in one day. I was doing all this. I was doing 2 a day, cardio in the morning, weight training at night. I was doing all the stuff and all the things. But I built a good foundation, but I wasn't counting my calories. How much farther could I have been along if I actually just did that one?
Wow.
Could I have been a bodybuilder? Could I have had my pro card? Could I have been one of these guys right now who's like on Instagram making millions of dollars a year just because I take my shirt off and I take some pictures? Ooh, look at me. Who knows what I cost myself? Starting the macro thing would have been great 10 years ago. I can't go back in time, but I can start today.
Yep.
Yes.
And by looking at the totality of what the biggest change for people is, learning how to count your calories using MyFitnessPal. If anybody's listening to this, you're like, oh my God, this guy's crazy, but it sounds like he's got a good program. Just reach out to these girls. I'll give you the program for free.
Yep.
But it's a matter of, it's not complicated if you get it from somebody who simplifies it. And if it's easy to understand, it's easy to implement, and it's easy to follow, because it's 3 simple steps, you can make a big difference. And that's the thing. I think so many people who had the motivation, they were mystified and confused by all that you had to do that. They just gave up on it because they just couldn't physically do it. But what if they could? What if they had a system that was so simple to follow, as long as you didn't quit, you were guaranteed to get results?
Yeah.
That's what I spent the past 3 years developing for people, is a simple, duplicatable system that anybody can follow, where if you just follow the program, it's impossible to fail. I got a girl right now. Her husband came down. He's working out with us. He signed up for the same program at the same time Celli did, right? Didn't even start it. Just paid for it, followed the diet on his own, lost 25 pounds doing his own thing, right? Started doing the 6-week challenge with us, lost another 20 pounds, brought his wife down. His wife's been struggling with weight forever, right? And I just get so frustrated because I try diets and workouts and Orange Theory and all this stuff, and nothing works for me. I just put her on some basic stuff that we put everybody on. She was like crying in our first session, like, just can't lose weight. I get so frustrated. Broke down, happens to me all the time. She came in this week and I'm down 5 pounds already. And for me, I felt bad because I'm like, oh, great, that's awesome. But for her, it was such a big deal because she's probably the biggest she's ever been. And it's not that she lost 5 pounds, it's that now she has the hope. She sees the light at the end of the tunnel and she's, oh my God, I finally have something that's working and I'm not killing myself in the process. That's what we've spent the past 3-4 years, whatever it is now, I lost track, creating. But like the amount of hours it took to put that together, the amount of failures you had to go through, the amount of things I had to sacrifice, I was making as a trainer. Just to put perspective into it, right? I was as a trainer making about $150, $180 a year, just training clients. I did that multiple times. I probably hit that number 7 or 8 times at different points in my career. There was nowhere left for me to go in training. I had to go to a different level. So I took a step back, cut my clients down, just put everything back into I spent $80,000 on courses and education and just like all the dumb in Instagram. All that stuff, beta testing stuff, designing programs, doing stuff for free, marketing to where my take home was cut down to like 25% of that because I was investing time instead of into building the process versus training. And I was spending the money I did have on coaches, courses, and mentors, right? Mm-hmm. And learning this stuff and getting to the point where now I can have somebody come in and without an effort, give them the simplest program that they can follow. So simple, it's almost like this isn't going to work. No, it is going to work. It's just that simple. Why does it have to be hard? That's what everybody else says. I'm sorry they lied to you. You know, and that's what we figured out dieting is. So for me, dieting is simply a matter of, are you eating in alignment with your goals? There's 2 things. There's a certain number of calories you have to eat on a daily basis based on whatever your goal is. That's how you determine the number, right? There's 7 steps we have that somebody can use to figure out their BMR on their own. It's the same thing. It's a free PDF. Reach out to these girls. We'll give you your copies. No big deal.
I got it.
But once you know what your goal is, you'll figure out how many calories you need to eat to get to that goal. Stay within a 20% variance. So if I'm eating 2,000 calories a day, a 20% variance of that would be 400 calories. As long as I don't eat less than 1,600 and I don't eat more than 2,400, I'm going to make progress. Stay within your calories and hit your protein goal. Rough estimate, 1 gram of protein per pound that you weigh, right? Oh, Jay, but the experts say that you can't. I don't give a what the experts say. I've got 20 years of seeing people make changes in their life. Those are my experts, the people who live it. Yes, your body might not be able to assimilate all the protein, but it's going to use it for energy versus carbs and fats. And we already talked about those. Your body can survive off of just protein. Your body cannot survive just off of carbs and fats. Bottom line, your body can use protein to build, to heal, and for energy. Your body can only use carbs for energy. It can only use fat for energy. You can't heal. You can't grow. If you look at people who go from a vegetarian diet to like a protein-based diet again, their skin is better. Their blood pressure goes down. There's so many positive things that happen in the body that people, they don't talk about that in the media, but your body, you're meant to be like an omnivore. You need protein and you need veggies. Stop trying to be a rabbit. You're not a rabbit. Stop trying to be a T-Rex. You're not a meativore. You're a human being. Eat the way you were designed.
Yeah.
But like when you figure out how many grams of protein you have to eat and you hit that number, and most people eat 40 grams of protein a day. If somebody weighs 150 pounds, they need to eat 150 grams of protein a day. So most people are getting in a week what they should be getting in a day. Yeah. And that's why they're not seeing results in the gym. But why don't they know that? Because they never took the time to track it. Right. Get good at the boring stuff, and it will give you results for the stuff you like to do.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So my takeaway is definitely get one of those tracking apps like MyFitnessPal.
MyFitnessPal is the best one.
Yeah. Knowing what you're consuming is honestly the best start, in my opinion.
It's like balancing your checkbook.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Oh, some of you guys may not know what that is because we're ancient, but it's a very good analogy.
Or that's a good point. It's more a matter of opening up your Bank of America app and just seeing what your balance is.
Yeah.
Watching, hey, I know I'm going to be getting $2,000 a week from my job this week, and I know that I'm spending X, Y, and Z, and I have X amount of dollars left. Maybe I shouldn't go buy this thing this week.
Right.
It's just looking at what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're not balancing out to the penny, but have some kind of damn idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the biggest thing. You do just that, big, huge difference with people.
And I think we're almost out of time today, but that was an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a lot
I
of
was
takeaways.
quiet.
I feel
this
bad.
whole
You have all
time.
your questions and you
No, these are just talking points that we didn't even need because you know how to hold a conversation.
Yeah.
And I just sat here quiet listening to everything you
I
had
just like
to
hearing
say.
myself talk. That's all it is.
That's
Everybody else is just in the room.
But we are doing something new where we're going to offer our snack of the week. And this week we're doing something called air fried beans.
Okay.
It's a bean bake.
It's a bean bake. But we're instead of baking them, we're doing them in an air fryer.
Yeah.
And we're actually going to be doing videos of everything that we suggest for our snacks. So we'll be able to show you guys exactly how. But the recipe that I found to be the smartest was to air fry them for 8 minutes at 350 degrees and then use a lower sodium can of like red kidney beans, spray them with some oil, not use actual olive oil because I do not like to drink my calories in any way, shape, or form. And season them however you want. And just that's a nice little snack to pop in. There's 7 grams of protein, about 220 calories for a cup of beans, air fried. So it's a nice little just pop 'em snack if you want something different.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think stuff like that's great because it helps people with, you know what to do, but how do you get there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the how-tos help people out. Like when we do our coaching calls, like people log their stuff to MyFitnessPal, right? And the reason why we use MyFitnessPal is because somebody can give me their username and login, and I can log on to their MyFitnessPal from my computer. You just go to myfitnesspal.com. Now, if you're the kind of person who uses the same password for everything in your life, just change it for your MyFitnessPal, right? Go outside your comfort zone for a minute. But I can actually look to see what people entered and say, this is what we did with you. And you're like, I don't know how to get to my protein number, or I don't know how to hit these calories. We go in and do a video where you see how you had 6 ounces of chicken here, have 8 ounces instead.
Yep.
You see how you had 2 cups of rice here, cut it down to a cup and a half. That'll save this for that later. And we literally give people the tools to make the changes they know they need to make.
Yep.
Most people know they need to eat X amount of calories. Most people know they need to eat X amount of protein, but how do I actually get there? And that's where people say, how do you give your program away for free now? I'm like, I'm a very firm believer that you should never pay for information. Like Google, ChatGPT,
You're not
YouTube.
gatekeeping. That's
Like
what
you can
it
find
is.
you could find anything out there on the internet these days. And plus,
Yeah.
most people who are selling it, they just copied it from somebody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where a coach should come involved is implementation, accountability, and speed. Hey, we told you the secrets, but how do I implement these secrets to my life? The bean bake thing is going to be great because it's going to show people other options of something that might be normally a problem in their diet. Yeah. I like having this thing. We'll have this instead. Oh my God, that's such a good idea. Well, I had a client, she had a problem with meal prep. I told her, and I stole this from another client of mine, go to Chipotle, because they cater, order a tray of the chicken. It's already cooked. Ooh. And then just plate it in your bowls or whatever, and you're done.
Yep.
Or there's another mom that she's getting home late from her kids' soccer practices twice a week. I said, get a meal prep company, get a couple, keep them in the freezer. The days you know you're going to run home late, yeah, you can stop and grab a piece of pizza for the kids or whatever, but have your homes this way, you already have something to eat.
Yep.
And they're like, oh my God, that's so smart. I never would have thought about that. Well, of course not. I've been doing this for 20 years. But it took a 2-second conversation. That's where the implementation comes in, showing you how to overcome the roadblocks, challenges, and obstacles you're going to run into. Because the second you go to do something positive for yourself, within 3 days, life and Murphy's Law will find a way to with you.
Yep.
And test your
That's the
results.
truth.
Yes.
That's
And
the
it's going
honest
to always
truth.
be 3. It always comes in 3s.
Yep.
The second way we help out is accountability. You know what to do, but are you actually doing it? Oh, Jay, it's hard. Life's hard. Is that your excuse? You still got to get it
is
done.
true.
There's people who I say they're gonna. You have to work out. We commit to them. Hey, how many times are you gonna work out this week? I'm gonna work out 4 times a week. I'm committed, and they mean it. But then something happens, working late, kids practices, whatever.
Injuries.
They only worked out 1 day this weekend. It's Friday, so I'm gonna get a text message. I'm gonna send a text message. Hey, what's up, Susie? It's Jay. Listen, I know you said you were going to work out 4 days this week. It's only been 1. That means I know you're doing a double at 1 day this weekend and something else on the other day. I just wanted to see what you're doing this weekend. And my clients are like, fuck, it's him.
It's
It's him.
He's so annoying. He's so annoying. And just
Wait.
by hearing the conversation we're having right now, you can imagine how I'm never negative. I never talk down to people. but I'll be a sarcastic little and I'll remind you about all the stuff you said. So rather than going through that, they're like, let me just do my workout and get it done so I don't have to hear his voice.
Oh my
and
goodness.
that's literally what keeps people accountable.
That's the truth. I've literally said, oh, I'm just waiting to hear from my coach. I know he's going to have something to say about my day today.
And it's easier just to go to the gym and get it done.
You want to know something though? So I went to only one class, and you're awesome. That's why I say you're awesome.
She's lying. I paid her $20 to say that.
And I posted that deadlifting video. And I was so like, do I even post this? And I knew I was going to get some kind of backlash in some way, shape, or form. Because I'm still new at this. No matter what, I'm still a student. We're all still students in anything. And you sent me a message. I'm like, oh my God, he's going to tell me about my form. I did something wrong. So I watched the video a few more times before I even opened up your message. And then that's when you said, do you mind if I give you a few pointers? Of course, I'm still learning. And the way you describe certain things, I think you said my knees turned in. It's just those little things that I didn't even notice that I was doing. And I had to go back to the drawing board, look at my video, and go back further to improve my stretches because I have issues with my hips. So with my hips, my knees are turning in, my feet, I don't know what's wrong with them. I don't know if they're flat-footed or whatever, but it's just those two things alone. I fixed that based off of your recommendation from a video you didn't have to send me. You didn't have to send me that. You'd be like, oh, look at this bitch lifting wrong and posting on Instagram.
He could have said, Celli, tell her to come in and I'll tell her how to fix it.
Yeah, but instead
joins.
you sent me a video like, look, I noticed you're doing this wrong. It will cause you these kind of issues. You should fix that. And I did it. And so many people they gatekeep information. They don't want to tell you things because they want to make money off of you.
I come from a school of thought where it's more like the best marketing tool in the world is goodwill. I've just been very blessed to get connected with the right people and just learn from people where it just makes so much sense. Case in point, right? Everybody's gotten hit up on Instagram from somebody trying to sell something some way, shape, or form, right? The problem is I don't know you and I don't trust you. Like, how do I know you're just not going to sell me something? There's no relationship there. Where for me, I'm all about give away the information, develop trust with people, and then whether it's that person directly or somebody they tell, some way, shape, or form, it's going to come back to me. And then I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. It's just, Jay, I want to work with you. Okay, great, awesome. You have any questions? Yep. No, great. And I don't have to fight them. So you give, and I heard this from one of the guys that I got this from originally. He's, if you can make your better than other people's paid stuff, right? And your stuff is free, you're going to be hard to beat. You're going to be very hard to beat because why would they ever pay somebody for somebody else's stuff when you're giving better stuff away from free? That is trust and that's value. Like you look at Instagram, we all have people we follow where we watch their posts and we get little things here and there from them. And it gets to the point where you feel like you have a relationship with this person. You care about their life. You're just instant in what's going on. But then you meet him in real life, which is one of the reasons I always say never meet your heroes. That's just my own personal thing. Because you meet them and they're like, hi, who are you? And it's like such a defeating thing because like you trust this person because they've given out free stuff that you've gotten value from. Or you've seen them so many times where people are they're not even trying to get to a point where we develop these relationships and these trusts where I need to figure out how to fix this. Let me watch this guy's video. You never met him. You never have a conversation with him. But they gave away so much goodwill that you develop that trust just by osmosis that now if they ever said, hey, I came up with this thing, you guys want to buy it? You were just running by it. There was a guy we follow. His name's Alex Hormozy, right? Marketing guy. And he did a book recently, and I posted about it because I was like, I got the book. It was free. He had, I forgot the number. It was like 500,000 people on a Zoom call. It was the world record. 80,000 people couldn't get on this call because there was that many people trying to log in at one time. The internet crashed. And he gave away this book about all his marketing secrets. Like all the people who try to sell you stuff, they base their stuff off of this guy's book. And he gave it away for free. He's like, here, here's the book. It's free. If you want it, learn what I learned. Because his thing now is I invest in companies that do over $1 million a year in profit. So I'm looking at this from a marketing perspective. I'm like, he's basically training his future clients. He's showing them how to do what he did, get to $1 million a year in profit. And then when they need somebody to help them grow more, who are they going to go to?
Right.
They're going to go to the guy that helped them out, where if his free stuff is this good, his paid stuff must be phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Not harder, but more effective. That's what we do. So just giving you that video, like right now, that goodwill, let's look at the chain of events. I just put out a simple goodwill to, hey, listen, it took me 2 seconds. Doesn't affect my life. Hey, if it helps out, let me know, right? I asked first because not everybody wants feedback. You talk about it. we talk about it on this podcast. Somebody listens to this podcast. Oh, I want to work with that guy. And they sign up for a $5,000 course or a $200 a month class package or something. What did I directly do to get that person? Nothing. It's just goodwill in the universe coming back to me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
I'm a very firm believer that like you should never pay for information. Like you should always pay for implementation, accountability, and speed. Show me how to do it faster. It took me 20 years to learn all this stuff. Like injuries and ailments and like the bad neck and the bad hip and the bad back. I had to learn this stuff. But now I can just give you a couple pointers to help you avoid it. And I just saved you 20 years. And all the injuries. That it's just helping other people through your experiences.
Right.
So that's why we do what we do. And I mean, that's really it. It's just, you just help people out and it's going to come back to you. So I'm glad the video helped.
Thank you.
I definitely have all the information for Jaycin Fitness located in Fairfield, New Jersey, including the 28-day challenge. So I actually have a couple people who have reached out to me. So it is working. But I think that wraps us up for today.
Yeah, there's
Any
a lot of
last-
information.
that
I'm
was a super
processing.
lot.
I would say,
That
hopefully, I
was-
gave you guys enough stuff to work with.
Oh,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, I'm still processing. Like I'm making mental notes
Uh-huh.
on what to do moving
Any
forward.
final thoughts?
No, I'm loving the dark
Goals?
dark goal. That's a good one. And that's a good one, and just life in general.
It is.
It's great. I'm gonna journal this later.
And like my guideline is like, if you're not getting a little choked up or teary eyed, like you're not going deep enough.
Yeah.
Like you should be embarrassed telling somebody.
Okay.
Like I just got to the point where I'm comfortable enough sharing my dark because like I've seen so many other people like and I'll end with this. Very dark. And if we ever do another podcast, we'll get into it more. There was a period in my life where I was involved in a drinking and driving accident and 2 people died, right? Was my fault, wasn't my fault. At the end of the day, I was drinking and driving in a situation where 2 people died. And regardless of whether it was truly my fault or not, I still did an irresponsible act. Therefore, I had to go to prison for 2 years, right? The amount of people in my life, which ironically, nobody was mad at me, which was to this day, like I say, attested to the character and the life that I lived. But the amount of people in my life who heard that story and say, oh my God, because I never drank. For that to happen to me, they were like, this could happen to Jay. It could happen to anybody. The amount of people who changed their lives, shared my story with their kids, stopped drinking, all that. If I had to go back and do it again to save that many people, knowing the kind of effect it had on others, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Because like people learn from either their experiences or the experiences of others.
Right.
So I have no problem sharing my dark secrets. At the end of the day, most of these people we're never going to meet. So like I don't have to worry about them judging me because I'm not going to meet them. They're not going to meet me. But for those 1 or 2 people out there that are listening that this might help out, I'll share my dark secrets. I'll share my past failures. Like the only thing you can get out of it is helping somebody else. So.
Right. And that transparency, it means a lot to other people too. It gives them that confidence to be transparent themselves with themselves, even if they don't speak about it. That's important. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Thank you.
dark.
And listen, you can't regret what you've done.
And what you learn from it.
You can only regret what you haven't done. All right, so I think that's it for this week. Join us next time on Bravely Fit. I am your favorite mind mix.
And I'm Ashlyn.
And I'm your favorite delinquent trainer.
Thanks for joining us this week.
Anytime, girls. Thank you for having us, and thank you to the people at home for tuning in. Hopefully, we kept it spicy and bubbly for you.
Yes.
Ray of sunshine. All right, have a great week, everybody.
Bye.